let's get into some predictions. How do you think this is gonna end up, Brett?
Ooh, predictions right away.
Yeah,
You know,
let's just go into it.
these are the two best teams in baseball this year. Best team from the AL, best team from the NL. That doesn't often happen in the World Series. You don't often see
Yeah.
a matchup quite like this. And it's also really weird because the way the schedule worked out this year, like the Dodgers only played teams in the NL West and in the AL West, and the Rays AL East and NL East. So
Yeah.
you didn't get to see the full body of work of like what these teams would do around the league and in other interleague play. So it's really interesting. I do think these are the two best teams. I think the Dodgers are a better roster. They had a better record. They've got an incredible lineup. But you look at these two pitching staffs, probably the two best in the league in all of baseball, and they match up really, really well. Now, this is a new format in terms of this year. These last two rounds, there's been no off days. Now you get a traditional format, off day after game 2, off day after game 5. I'm not sure which team that kind of benefits more, because you always talk about the Rays and their bullpen depth and all the stable of guys that they've got. Now maybe those guys get more rest. Maybe your starting pitchers get more rest. I think this is going to go 7 games. And I'm just have to say Rays in 7. I would be disappointed in myself if I said otherwise. But it is going to be, I think, one of the most entertaining baseball-wise World Series in recent memory.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like everything that you said. I have to agree with, I think the Dodgers have the best lineup in baseball. The Tampa Bay Rays pitching staff and bullpen is insane, and those guys can shove. And they're just going to match up really well. And I think before the season started, I said the Dodgers were going to beat the Rays in 6 games in the World Series. So because
nice flex there. Okay, I like that.
I'm saying because that still could come true, I'm sticking with it. However, I could definitely see it going 7, and it's gonna be a battle. I think it's just gonna be grinding out a lot of at bats. The big thing is, though, like Brett was saying, those 2 off days, I think are just gonna equally benefit both teams. The Rays bullpen certainly needs some rest. The Dodgers,
they get a little bit of a leg up because they get 2 days. You guys just get 1.
Right.
And the Rays also have to travel. The Dodgers get to stay put in Texas.
That's true. And I do think the advantage, we talk about there's no home field advantage throughout these playoffs, but now I think we're going to see it because the Rays.
I mean, the Dodgers have been playing there all postseasons. They do have a little bit of a home field advantage.
So, the Rays have a speedy outfield, so I think they're going to adjust pretty quickly. But I do think we get a slight advantage just kind of knowing the park. So I think the home field advantage finally comes into play for a game or 2 at least. So we'll see how that ends up.
The one thing I'd refute that with is I've been watching some of the games at Globe Life, and the lighting in there reminds me of the Trop pre-2018 or 19 when they installed the new LED lights. It looked really gloomy. Like the lighting is not great. I don't know how it bounces off the walls or anything there, but got to mention the Trop. So maybe a guy like Kevin Kiermaier, who's been with the Rays for 6 or 7 years now, might have a bit of an advantage out there trying to read fly balls in that outfield.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay in that sense. I think it's more
Dodgers outfield don't look too scared of it though. They've been making some stupid fucking plays, dude. God, Mookie's like a fucking cheat code. It's so annoying.
He's so cool. I love that guy.
Well, Mookie. One interesting thing about Mookie Betts is obviously the Dodgers lineup last year was probably the best in baseball, and they go out and add Mookie Betts. Are you kidding me? Mookie Betts more plate appearances against the Rays in his career than any other team. 438 plate appearances against the Rays, 892 OPS, 16 home runs. This guy, I mean, he hits against anyone, but he really hits against them. And having him on this team, like the Rays, when he left the AL East and all the Red Sox got back was Alex Verdugo. That was something that we were really happy about. We're like, oh, we don't see Mookie Betts anymore. Now we're getting him in the World Series. So I think Rays fans are not looking forward to seeing him in the lineup.
Yeah, well, the Dodger fans on the other side are not looking forward to seeing Margot or Hunter Renfroe because those guys were Dodger killers.
Dude, I felt the same way about Margot and Renfroe killed the Giants too. And I mean, we could talk about, just it's certain guys, even though they have shitty numbers, they just do well against certain teams, yeah, I would expect them to get some time, a lot more time than they weren't getting in the other series for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think that's going to be a matchup to watch because they don't kind of jump out at you, but against the Dodgers, they've killed them.
And especially if that's, because
Mookie,
you're counting on Mookie. Mookie's your best player, right? I mean, Renfroe and Margot are not Rays' best players, so you're still expecting. I mean, Rosarena's the hottest dude on the planet, and, and then you also have those guys that kind of gives them a little bit of a leg up, As far as what do you guys, if your respected team wins, who do you guys think is going to be the MVP and let's say like an unsung hero?
Tyler, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll jump in on it.
I'm just stalling.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for MVP, it's hard to say that it won't be Corey Seager again, just because he's been so hot, and I think that
so hot right now.
But just like Brett was saying, with the way Mookie has hit against the Rays over the past few years in his time in Boston, maybe that comes into play, and with his defense. But I think it's definitely going to be
Seager.
I think it's going to be one of those two guys. I think Bellinger is going to have a great series. Muncy's going to have a great series, but I think it's going to boil down between one of those two guys. But if I had to choose, I would say Corey Seager.
Yeah, I like that. For the Rays, I mean, the fact that I said this was going to go 7, and the way it looks like the pitching rotation is going to line up for the Rays would be Charlie Morton in Game 3, and then again in Game 7. And he just pitched an amazing game in Game 7 of the ALCS. He's pitched in Game 7 of the World Series before. I would have to say Charlie Morton, most experienced player on this roster. He's amazing in the postseason. He's amazing in winner-take-all games, and a true leader for the pitching staff. So if the Rays win in 7, Charlie Morton, I think he would be the guy that is ultimately winning the MVP. An unsung hero, and I think it really depends on how the Rays use him. Yoshi Tsutsugo, so a guy they signed out of Japan last offseason, struggled at the plate this year, but still drew a lot of walks and had some good power. He had a what was his batting average? Like 197, but had a much higher on-base percentage, hit 8 home runs. Hasn't been used a whole lot in the postseason thus far, but if he gets in the game, he's going to work counts, he's going to draw walks, and he'll probably run into one. So Yoshi Tsutsugo is a guy who
might have a big one.
That's just wishful thinking on my part because I think he should be in the lineup more often for the Rays. Mm-hmm. But if he does get in this series, he's going to have an impact.
Yeah, when you got a heart for a guy, man, you want him to get those opportunities. I loved the Charlie Morton shout out, especially because you're talking about big game pitchers and the graphic they showed, his being in postseason history. He was number 3 in closing games. Yeah. Madison Bumgarner being number 1 with a 0 ERA, 23 innings pitched. That's the only thing I got. Let me have this one thing. Yeah. Okay. I gotta all postseason. I gotta hear you talk shit like, fuck you, and I'm just sitting here like this, like, what do you guys think? Because I'm just over here holding my balls. Like, this is so. Let me have this one.
All right.
Fuck you, Tyler. Who's your unsung hero? Bitch?
Let the big boys talk. So it seems weird saying unsung hero in naming this person, but I'm going to say Clayton Kershaw.
Here we go again.
I'm going to say Clayton Kershaw.
No.
Clayton Kershaw, I think he, everyone shits on him for his postseason, and he has had a few bad games. A few bad, I should say. Because if you put him out there, right, but if you remove 2 or 3 7th innings, where he probably shouldn't have gone out, he's looking great.
I'm sorry, if you're an ace, you should be able to go 7. Okay. I'm not a huge.
I think Kershaw buckles down, and I think he gets 2 wins in the series, and he pitches 2 gems. At least that's what I'm telling myself. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what.
And I got mad at you last series for picking him. You picked him for, was that MVP or unsung hero last series, Tyler? I forgot which one.
Kershaw?
And I got mad at you. Yeah.
Well, either way, I was fucking wrong. So
I know, but what I'm saying is I got mad at you because you were because I was like, oh yeah, best pitcher of our generation. That's really I think it was unsung hero. Yeah. I was like unsung hero, and then you're like, well, postseason. And then I was like, well, it's only 60-game season, so technically it's midseason. But yes, I will give that to you now because he has started. Well, I don't want to say started the postseason bad because I mean he did really good in the other two series, but you know, he's starting to do his little
but
dip. So
you
I'll allow it.
you also have to think, you know, getting scratched from his first start.
Yeah.
I'm not so convinced he's going to start game one, even though he has been announced. I'm not going to
You
believe
wouldn't
it
start game
until I'm not going to believe it until I see it. I'm still
Yeah.
worried about him
Oh, no,
getting
wait.
scratched.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess Bueller wouldn't start because that would be what he's just. It's only 2 games.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm stupid.
if
Don't listen to me.
if Kershaw
Scratch
can't
that.
start, I don't know who the hell does. So hopefully his back holds up. There's no spasms, and you know we can kind of see it.